everybody. Distract Team Game presents G4 Experience, and welcome to another pre-scheduled episode brought to you by Shrek Team Gaming and Anchor. Today we're going to be talking about video games from the past and video games currently in our present. This is going to be Mike's episode to take on, but let me go ahead and introduce who we're here with.
Irishguy, aka Mike.
This is Ronnie.
Zmainia.
I don't know. This is the second episode I've done this. I just really...
You switch it up?
I don't know why. It just... For some weird reason, it's just easier to say Ronnie than it is to say Doc at times.
Welcome to the show, everybody. I'm Game Boy. Thanks for joining us. If you're watching us on YouTube, welcome right now to the live stream. But however, we are also on Spotify, so thank you guys for tuning back into another pre-scheduled episode to listen to us. So the topic of conversation today is going to be video games then and now, and how video games have pretty much not just necessarily morphed and changed, but how they've essentially grown per se, and how video games essentially have changed and what has evolved. Thank you. And we're going to go ahead and let Mike start it. This is going to be his episode. So Mike, go ahead and take it away.
All right, so it's not going to be just necessarily video games itself. It's going to be gaming as a whole and how it's changed from, well, I'll just use us. So the 30 plus years of our lives, just how much it's evolved from, for me, I remember starting with the NES, the original Nintendo. I don't know, what did you guys... What's your earliest recollection of gaming that you can recall?
I'd have to say, I believe I'm the youngest here. My first, my first memory of video games wasn't even really playing them per se, because I know I was always playing them. But I just remember one day, I was like, "Why isn't this working?" So you gotta flip it up, push it down, pull it out, push it back in. Pray to your deity that it works.
Honestly, the first time you got a sort of high.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say the K word because that would be considered,
inappropriate or negative.
Yes. But legit it is because autoerotic asphyxiation,
well, it doesn't have to be autoerotic, but asphyxiation in general, yeah. Yeah, I was just a little kid. I was blown into the cartridge, and I got autoerotically asphyxiated. What?
What's happening here?
Okay, that took a whole turn that we weren't supposed to go on.
So phrasing. Right, it was
I'm filling time.
Okay, anyway, so... made me forget what I was going to say. Damn it.
Yeah, it's losing oxygen to your brain can have memory effects, negatively, of course.
Okay. Anyway, so like I said, so for me it was the original Nintendo. It sounds like it was for you as well, or Super Nintendo or 64, because all of those had cartridges.
It was the I think it was with Duck Hunt. I think
so. That's the original.
The
Nintendo.
original, yeah.
David.
Super Nintendo, Chrono Trigger. Yeah, so it was weird because I played the Super Nintendo first in Chrono Trigger, and then for some reason I was introduced to the NES with the original Legend of Zelda. Or actually, at that time it was called Adventures of Link, the second one. Not the one where he goes into a cave. It's dangerous to go alone. Take this. The second one where you get to visit town to town and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
For me, I want to say was probably console. It was probably Nintendo. I want to say.
So sounds like all of us have, as far as playing anything, it started with. Not necessarily started with, but have all played the original Nintendo and up.
Never mind, I lied. It was Atari.
Okay.
Oh. Wow. I remember my cousins actually having one of the Ataris when I lived in Iowa. Or when they lived in Illinois and I lived in Iowa. went and visit, and I remember the Pong paddles. So yeah, that was my first system.
Behold, an elder of lore.
All right. So I was looking up just kind of the prices of the different consoles throughout the time, and then so if you had like with the consoles costing what we know they cost now, like $600, what would your guess be as to what the original Nintendo cost in 1985?
Actually,
Translated to today.
No, just at 1985.
Which version?
I have 3 different prices for it. I have it no game, then I also have it priced with the Super Mario Brothers, and then with the control deck, 2 controllers, the zapper, which is the gun, and the Mario Duck Hunt. So I have all 3 prices. So,
let's see. If I had to guess, I'd say at the time 150, 200 for just the base console.
$199.
So, original system was, I think, under $100 with additional accessories. Depending on which accessory you got, it slowly went up in price. I think the overall package was, I think, $130.
you're almost spot on.
What's on that tablet?
Did you look it up? No. Or did you look at the thing I
Okay,
sent in?
okay.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I was
that
just
was
looking
too
at the
good.
technology. No,
He worked on the advertisement team.
I just knew that I remember it was a video a long time ago that this is where I say I remember certain useless information, and I remember knowing that the original system with everything on it cost upwards a little bit over $100, $130, because at that time it was a big, oh my gosh, this is expensive. So that was the thing, was I was just like, wow, that's a lot of money, especially at that time, because in the 80s, over $100 was really good, because I think the Atari costs were, like probably, excuse me, I'm
trying to think of that 70s show when Red got the Atari. I'm trying to remember what it was priced at on the show.
Yeah, I want to say the Atari was probably in the 50s to, I know it was below 100.
Yeah. I want to say it was around 60.
Yeah, and even then for that time, it was.
That's quite pricey.
Yeah.
I mean, keep in mind, this isn't accounting for inflation.
Yeah.
All right. So, kind of going through all 3 of those ranks that I had on there. The NES with no games was $89.99, so $90. With Super Mario Brothers was $100, and then with the control deck, 2 controllers, the gun, and Mario Duck Hunt was $149. And then if you look at it adjusted at the one, so with this image that we have here, it says it was $200. So the website that I found looks like some of the information was wrong. But anyway, so adjusted for inflation, it would be almost $500 for that system today. So pretty much right on point with what we're looking at for now. Nowadays money.
I swear the Atari was cheaper than that.
The Atari 2600?
Yeah.
No, the prices I remember from the article I read, that seems about.
Like Nintendo's version of Gold, that you can play that game. I want to say it's in one of the emulator bundles that they give out for free if you have it. So you can play it on the Switch. I feel like I saw it there because I just browsed through the big catalog, and yeah, I want to say it's in there. So worth checking out if you have Nintendo Switch Pro. I forgot what it's called, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
What was the sorry? What,
Favorite game from the NES?
Ninja Turtles.
Good. Well, I forgot about that.
Yep, Ninja Turtles was my favorite because that's when Ninja Turtles came out. The cartoon show. I remember playing that over at my cousin's house. He also had RoboCop. My uncle, I think, or am I thinking of the
Battletoads was another.
Battletoads was really good. I can't remember if Ninja Turtles, because I swear Ninja Turtles was on no, it was on the NES because I remember the Game Genie.
It was a side scroller.
Yeah, it was a side scroller because the 60 or the Super Nintendo was not it was a semi side scroller with some of the games.
Fun fact, the reason why I was kind of confused when you first asked me is when I got the original Nintendo NES, people around me kept calling it a Nintendo 64 because by that time it was already out. Yeah. So to this day, whenever I think of that console, my first thought is Nintendo 64, but I always have to think about it. Just because like my siblings and neighbors would keep calling it a Nintendo 64.
Mm.
Yeah.
My favorite NES was probably going to be Super Mario World 2. Only because the first one was like super duper pixelated.
Yeah.
The third one was actually, I think that was Super Mario Brothers, right? No, I'm sorry, Super Mario World 3. Because Super Mario World 2 was the Japanese release one that we didn't get here until like much later.
Is Super Mario World original, or is that the one that came out on Super Nintendo?
No, the NES one. So there was. Okay. You gotta make me look it up.
There was one for the Nintendo. It was I think it was Super Mario World 2.
All right.
Hang on. This one, Super Mario Bros. 3. So Bros 3, because there was a second one that like it either didn't or it did release on.
Well, just type in 2.
Oh yeah, duh.
Okay.
But it'd be that one because I like the Tanuki suit and stuff.
Gotcha. All right. So
there we go. Super
one
Mario 2.
of the things I looked up also was
That was Game Boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the things I looked up because I was kind of trying to do researching for this episode, I was trying to find some stuff for inflation, and some stuff was just damn hard to find the prices at launch.
Mm-hmm.
But I was able to find the price. Well, it was for Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
I swear you love that damn game.
I do. It's so good. But it was one that was a graded thing, and it still had the original price tag on it from Kmart. So I know how much I don't know if it was necessarily at launch, but it had a price tag on it that showed what it was selling for. And that was for $34.97 at Kmart. And then adjusted for inflation, that would be $81 as of, I think it was adjusted for 2020 inflation. So it'd be selling for more than what games are now. And then, sorry guys, I'm flipping back and forth between my pages.
No, it's okay. I'm an ineffective note taker too.
Well, I was doing facts here, and then I was doing questions here, and then I was doing
Made sense
other stuff on the back.
Why didn't you just cut and paste it to the? Oh wait, that's right. Handwriting.
Okay, there we go. I can just rip the page out of the notebook and have them side by side.
Only if you had an electronic device that you can put all your...
Like a PowerPoint.
Well, not necessarily.
Not necessarily a PowerPoint, but if I had a tablet, which I don't have just yet. Anywho,
I'm sorry.
You lost this place again.
I forget where I was at.
Well, you find that. I'll just make this comment real quick. Like, when you were talking about the Kmart price, that sounds like it was on sale. Because it was such an odd number. And it's Kmart. Like,
yeah, I can't.
If you guys don't know what Kmart is, search it.
It existed at one point, I swear.
I don't think there might be like one or two around. So.
Yeah, it was next to the Blockbuster. Wait, hold on a second.
No, I think a majority of them
Blockbuster's still around.
Not physically.
Nope.
Yeah, did that one close?
Oh,
that
that's
one
right.
officially closed.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Yep.
Wow.
I
feel like it wasn't that many episodes ago.
I believe it officially closed.
Allegedly.
Anywho, so that's just going to be my catchphrase for this episode is anywho. Looks like Kmart is still around, I guess. Okay.
Do your thing.
Sorry, I'm distracted.
Oh, look, a piece of candy.
Squirrel.
Piece of candy. All right, so out of all the consoles that you've had, which one would you say was your favorite?
Favorite console?
Yes.
You can't. For me, you can't really.
That's tough.
Yeah, because you have moments with every system.
It's like saying which of these moments are more special than the others. But
Which one is your
some of
favorite
them are
child?
hard to compare.
Yeah, because I mean, you only have so much. Like I said, Ninja Turtles on the Nintendo. Then you have the Super Nintendo, which you had Yoshi's World that I love. I mean, I still play that on my. I actually own it on my Switch and my Wii. I bought the game on both. Then you have Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
You have,
Okay. Let me rephrase it this way. You have all of the consoles you've owned sitting in front of you, with all of the games that you've owned or played. Which one and which console and game would be the one you would go to you would pick to play first?
Let me answer because honestly, like if when you preface it like that, and I only say this because I've been looking up like trying to find ROM downloads and stuff like that for it. If an N64 was in front of me with Ocarina of Time, I guarantee you I'd probably plug it in, and just for nostalgia.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a, not to quote Ego Raptor too hard, but there's a significant amount of waiting in that game, waiting for dialogue, waiting for doors to open, waiting for the sun to change. You know, the list goes on. But I would still, just for a nostalgia factor, I would probably find myself playing that.
I'd probably go NES, just because I have a PlayStation emulator, and on occasion I'll go back and play like Final Fantasy Tactics or The Legends of Dragoon, or some of the older original Final Fantasy 1, 2, and 3, Anthem, stuff like that. So I can eventually sometimes get my fix on that if I really wanted to on my tablet or PC, but with Duck Hunt, I know they came up with a way to simulate it and stuff like that, but I'd definitely want to find an old TV in one, like at a thrift store or something like that, and plug in an NES to that and play Duck Hunt and Kirby.
Oh, bro, just get an HDMI converter.
Yeah, that's not the authentic experience.
I mean, really, you just need one so you can blow into it all the damn time, and then that's really all you want. For me, honestly, it's really hard for me, even if I had all the systems, because I loved pretty much every system had its quirks and and stuff, but every system I had memories from, so it would really be hard for me to choose which one, because for me it just really depends on what I'm in the mood for.
For this one, let's say behind door number 1, you walk in there, all those consoles are there, and you're only one person, so you get to pick one to start off with. Which one are you going to gravitate towards right now?
Honestly, I'd probably walk out. to be serious, because
yeah, we have a podcast. I understand responsibilities. I'm feeling you.
Well, no, it's not that. It's just
I get your point, because like
it's hard.
It is, because like I didn't even like want to answer that myself, but if you think about it, you ever see those memes where like it's like different characters, whatever, and it says one day someone picked one of these guys and that was the basis of their entire life choice. It's kind of like that, because like for me on the PlayStation 1, I had my first introduction to sports game, MLB 2001. I had my first introduction to JRPGs, Final Fantasy VII. Nintendo 64, I had my first introduction to a lot of the party games we know and love. Mario Party 2 and Mario Party 64. Super Smash Brothers. Xbox is when my love for games really started to take off, because there was a lot of good games on the original Xbox and the Xbox 360. Yeah. I mean, first video game, Chrono Trigger on the Super Nintendo. The list goes on. So how do you pick which cherry got popped?
In your present state of mind, which one would be the one you would go for?
I already answered that.
I know. I'm just trying to.
And that's what we're just saying is it's really hard for me. I'd probably just walk out.
Okay.
Honestly, if I can.
So you'd
have
never
them.
play video games again for the rest of your life? Because
I
eventually you got to
didn't-
jump on one of them.
I didn't say that.
I'm putting in the ultimatum now.
Okay, so for me, it would be
Fortnite.
No, it would also be the Nintendo 64, but I would go GoldenEye 007.
That's a good one.
choice.
That's pretty good.
I wasn't even thinking
Father
about
first
that.
person shooters. Grandfather.
Yeah.
So many 1v1 matches on
'Cause
GoldenEye.
That
Against
was
the
one
bots and
that
Love it.
when I had my 64, I think I've mentioned this before. Before I sold it off, I actually had a copy of GoldenEye with it, and plugged it into the TV to play it. And oh my god, those graphics are so terrible.
Oh yeah.
But I remember at the time I was like, oh my god, this is so realistic. This is so cool.
Yeah, you talk that game. You talk about something that did not age well, like
Yeah.
Duck Hunt and Super Mario 3. Those are still decent to play.
Yeah.
GoldenEye. Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
that's so horrible.
It's because it's the difference between whether or not they embraced the pixelation or they tried to refine it into something realistic. Like I can't think of a single game that tried to go with the realism that's 20 plus years old that actually still looks halfway decent.
Yeah.
Yeah. In 20 years, well, we don't know what stuff will look like in 20 years, but in 20 years, we'll probably be thinking the same thing.
I could see the polygons.
So bringing this up,
I have a funny story about that.
I just remembered this. So on the way back from looking at one of the venues for them, we were talking about doing a your spouse dresses as your favorite character, and so I was telling his fiance, I was like, all right, so Lara Croft's his crush, but it's the original Lara Croft pixelated boobs, so we'll get Corbett boxes to do the pixelated boobs.
Gotta have that box butt.
Oh man, I had him laughing.
Oh yeah. And that was with her in the car as well.
Yeah.
She was getting in on it, and so was his wife. It was pretty great.
Yeah, because I can't remember what hers was for you. I think it was from Assassin's Creed. It was
Oh,
I don't remember.
started with a D.
Desmond.
Desmond. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
Desmond.
I think it was.
Damn, I knew that.
You know he doesn't have a beard.
I'm not shaving it. If that's gonna happen, he's having a beard then. Because back in the day, I dressed up as Waldo, and Waldo had a damn beard.
Artistic reimagining.
Or you know what?
Creative liberties.
I was the imposter Waldo. That's what it was.
All right, continue.
Anyway, so since we're talking,
Segue.
yeah. So what was the first consoles that you bought with your own money?
Fuck.
That was the Xbox.
Which one? The original?
Original Xbox.
I received that as a birthday gift as a young child. Came with not SpongeBob, Spider-Man, the original one. Sorry, correct. But the first one I bought myself, I believe, I bought Xbox 360 back when I was still in high school. Yeah.
Yeah, Xbox 360 was also my first purchase.
Was it the Xbox?
I actually
Yeah, it was.
either in high school or just before then, when Fair Game was like super popular,
Yeah,
when it was in the corner, not that side shop.
yeah,
One of what I did is I bought a PlayStation 2 from him with Jurassic Park Operation Genesis.
of course it would be Jurassic
Right.
Park.
And I did this really stupid thing where I would acquire either, one way or another, a bunch of video games, sell all of them just so I can get something else. It was a never-ending process.
Yeah, so
Back before you downloaded everything.
Right.
so those of you that he mentioned Fair Game, that was a it's a retro video game store. I don't know if they're still. I think they're still around.
Fair
I
Oaks.
think, yeah, last time I checked, there's still one. Yeah. Contemporary of GameStop.
Yeah, but like they specialize in the older games. Like they have the original Nintendo 64, Atari, all that kind
And
of
some
stuff.
card games. They had some, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
And then, so with that console that you bought, was it something that you had to save up for, or was it like doing chores, or was it something like your parents helped you pay for it kind of thing?
Government funding.
You want to go first?
No, I actually had a job at that time, so I bought mine. The one, I mean, given my history, I'll just give you a lowdown of. I've owned 2 Nintendos, 2 Super Nintendos, 4 Game Boys, the original Game Boys. So I'm growing up in ages, just so you guys know. 4 Game Boys, 2 Segas game consoles, Sega Cd. Then we integrated to want to say we got a Nintendo 64. Then we never had a Dreamcast, but I did have a PlayStation. Then we had a GameCube. And then the first system that I bought was the Xbox. Then me and my brother-in-law, we went halves on a PlayStation 2. I got Xbox 360, Xbox Elite, and I think that's the Xbox Slim, because I don't remember which one.
Yeah, that was the one that was more boxy, right? Black.
Yeah, it was kind of like the latest.
The precursor to the Xbox One.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's I think the latest one that. So.
Oh no, that was the Elite, and the Xbox
Elite,
Slim was the black one that was a gloss finish and kind of had that indentation right above the gills. Yeah, that was the Xbox that I bought. Growing up as a kid, I never really asked for anything. So I maybe once or twice a year I'd get something, and it was usually something nicer because never asked for anything, never asked for money. I always saved up my money mowing lawns, Christmas and birthday money. I always saved up, never asked for anything. So that's why I got an Xbox original when I turned 10. And then I got the Xbox 360 when I think maybe a year after it came out. I don't remember specifically when, but then the Ring of Death, the Red Ring of Death.
I've had that twice on the same Xbox.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, Xbox 360 was the first one because I remember my mother got us the Xbox because I used to play it over at my grandmother's. So yeah, it was the 360 was the one that I initially bought. Yeah.
But yeah, so then I bought the Slim because it had recently come out, and I saved up my money for it. So that was pretty cool. But one benefit of never asking for anything and saying, hey, if you skip Christmas or, if you skip my birthday, which they normally didn't, but I asked them, hey, if you do this, can I get something like really cool? And that's how I got an electric motorcycle as a kid. It was awesome. I could get 25 miles per hour downhill, not too steep, but yeah, that was a lot of fun. Totally worth it.
All right, Mike.
So as we're seeing the Sega Genesis, the 16-bit, that was, I remember that my uncle had that.
Yeah, that 16-bit took a whole lot of bite.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Which
I'm crucified, but he's okay.
Which is funny. So, do they show? What? Continue going. No, go back. Because after this, the Super Nintendo, it's Panasonic's thing.
I forgot about Panasonic having Panasonic.
Almost everybody came out with one at a time.
Yeah.
But which is funny because the Sega CD was actually the first iteration of a disk drive.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to store more data on that.
Sega Saturn.
Sega Saturn.
I've played on that before. I forgot.
Well, that is actually the actual the Sega CD was actually an attachment that went onto the Sega, and it was kind of like that because I remember this. You had the platform, and then you actually put the Sega on it, and the Sega CD was off to the side, and you actually used the Sega to play the game, and that's why it was called Sega CD.
Was it Sega that had the controllers at one point where you could like put a thing in there and it had like an actual display on it and stuff like that?
That's Dreamcast.
Oh, okay.
That was the one system that I did not own.
That's that one there that he has on.
Yeah, that was it. I just remembered going to someone's house and holding the controller for like a minute and seeing that and just being so. To this day, I'm still kind of confused on how that was a thing. Like, what it was it for? Yeah, it's mystery of my childhood. I'll have to look this up later.
Okay, so you guys kind of sort of touched on it. So when you were younger and you wanted a game, did you have to save up for the game, or ask your parents and kind of chip in, or do whatever chores, or
Spoiled. as you can tell from all the
yeah, all the
systems
stuff you just listed off. Yeah.
Yeah. I happily can say that I never really asked for any games, but when I asked to go to GameStop to get the new Halo release of Halo 2, the day it happened to be a day my dad had off, so we went to Arden Mall, which there was a GameStop there still. And when I was going to go pay for it, he told me, "Oh no, I got this," and he actually bought it for me. So that was really cool. But otherwise, I'd always save up to buy my own stuff and never ask or expect it.
Okay. Yeah.
Nope.
Keep that open. I use it just for a break. So because of my heritage, until I was 18, I was given a sum of money that was supposed to help me through school and shit, and all that.
Yeah.
I blew it on video game stuff.
Well spent.
Right. So
Got you here.
I like to think that a lot of my trials and tribulations in life saved my life because video games were there. But no, I blew a chunk of that money on
I'm listening. I was
video game stuff. No, I thought you were judging me when you looked at me.
Can't you do both?
so this is the Sega CD.
Oh, okay.
So it was the Sega Genesis. So it wasn't the 16-bit. It was the newer version of that, which
24 at the time, I think. I think it was 24.
Yeah, it just released with it because I remember playing this pilot game on it.
Star Fox.
No, it wasn't Star Fox. It was actually another pilot game that I just remember being. It was kind of similar, like when you see the scene of Battlestar Galactica when they shoot out the pit vipers out of, and you go through the tubes. If it's kind of like that scene, you kind of shoot out there, and then you're just trying to fly around killing stuff. You're actually going through a tunnel trying to kill monsters that were popping up, and it's in like a 3D, so you're like having to move around and everything like that.
All right. So for me, I had to save up to get unless it was close to my birthday, then I would be like, all right, hey, can I get this for my birthday? Or like, can I pitch in? Because my parents, especially my mom, it still to this day isn't a fan of video games. My dad's not a huge fan of video games either.
What? Your dad? No way.
They just don't understand me.
I mean, when you play a game called Fugitive, and you can have their heads on your belt buckle.
No, that was called Manhunt.
Or Manhunt.
Grand Theft Auto. Hey, yo, give me your car.
He's talking about a guy who retires from his job only to go volunteer at an animal shelter doing manual labor.
Yeah. That's my dad for you. Love the guy, but he's not a huge video game fan. Anyway, so that's going to take us to the halfway point or so for this episode. So we are going to go ahead and take our break. And let's get this ad from our sponsor.
So you can take it.